Welcome to the Real Raw role play from Unblinded. We have some incredible people here today. Vivian, how are you?
I'm excited about today's lineup.
Yeah. So what's present for you, Vivian, as we step into yet another remarkable day of the Real Raw? How's the Real Raw working for you, and what's happening?
Well, I'm very excited. I had been feeling a little bit blue because it's raining outside. And then I got so jazzed about coming on today because as soon as I knew I was coming on, I started to get excited. And then I decided to dress in colorful wear today as a result of that. We have my Hispanic
little conversation today about clothes and feeling good about stuff. So I'm very happy in your color. Do you have your ripped jeans on?
No, I got more comfortable gear on. I have my workout gear on.
All right, very, very cool. So, and we have some remarkable people here today. So yeah, thank you guys for being here. Thank you everybody for watching. Can't wait to get started. And by the way, the Unblinded Real Raw role play is about this. Influence is a superpower. We have it here and we designed to prove it every day. You can get it and learn it. So thanks. So what's up, Vivian? Who we got?
We got right from Puerto Rico. We have Andres Rivera Hurtado. And he's a coach and account executive of Procter Gallagher Institute. It is said of Andres that once he believes in something, he pours his heart and passion into it so long as it has integrity.
Oh, Andres, how are you?
I'm doing really well. I'm very excited to be here, Sean. Thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. And what's the best way to pronounce your first name? I want to make sure I get it right.
So funny story, when I graduated in college, I went to an international school and the dean asked us to phonetically spell out our names. Yeah. I found this is the best way for really to do it if you don't know how to roll the R's. So I wrote out UNDRESS. And you read it like that, but if you actually write it down, it's as if you were undressing yourself. So undress, that's the best way to say it.
How are you, brother? Yeah, beautiful. And where are you physically coming from today?
Puerto Rico. I'm in the island of Puerto Rico.
In Puerto Rico, what part?
Yes, Bayamón. It's right next to San Juan.
Beautiful, awesome, brother. Yeah, well, welcome, and we're going international for today. It's
yes.
Quad. Yeah, do you I know
overseas
you're States, of course, but overseas would be the best way to say it, right? Amazing. So
yes.
Yeah, we have to cross over some other countries to get there. So technically, it's right? Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
So welcome, Andres. And then who else we have, Vivian?
Well, hailing from the hospitality industry is host Jenny from the Chopping Blog. And she shares food and cocktail recipes and offers up inspiring self-help tools. And her favorite quote from the legendary mentor that we all believe in, Anthony Bourdain, is luck is not a business model.
Boom. Jen, what's up?
Hey, Sean. So good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Great to see you. And what prompted you to say yes to coming on the Real Raw role play?
Oh my gosh. So I've been following you and your journey and your heart since I've been involved in the Tony Robbins world. And then I saw you around and I have so many stories with you that just touched my heart deeply. So why wouldn't I say yes? Oh my gosh. Thank you.
And where are you coming from today?
I live on East Meadow, New York.
Oh my God. So not even that far. And what's your preference? Jen, Jenny, Jennifer? What's our best way to go?
Well, my business name is Jennifer, but I guess friends and family call me Jenny, so you could call me Jenny.
Oh, well, thank you. So we have Andres, Jenny, but I'm feeling a problem, Vivian. These are super nice people today. I'm feeling an absence of competitive edge. So maybe our judge can stoke up the fire between Andres and Jenny because there's things at stake. There's learning to be had. I'm having just a little bit of fun with that. But of course, this is the Real Raw role play. So, and who do we have as the amazing judges for today?
We have Joe Camperato. He's the president of National Business Capital and Service.
How's it going?
Yo, what's up, brother?
What's up, man? How's everything? How are you?
Everything is going great. Joe has been on here as a competitor. So what's it like to move from the competitor seat, Joe, to the seat of judging?
It feels good. I actually like the competitive part of it, but it'll be good to be a critical judge today. Right. And give some good feedback.
You did a fantastic job as you were there with Chris Crone. And Joe, just to share, what do you guys do? Because I want you to be able to share what you do for your company. I know, but you want to share?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So we help small business owners obtain financing to grow their businesses. We're innovating the way entrepreneurs grow. Besides financing, we help businesses with a number of different business services, from payment processing to marketing solutions, to insurance to payroll, and help reduce costs, streamline processes, and really everything around helping a small business, grow their business and get to the next level. And obviously, with all that's happening, it is a very wild time to be a business owner. So, we've helped businesses on the PPP loan transactions right now, and once we get past that and get back to as the economy starts to open up, we're really going to be here to support businesses obtain financing through various sources. Our platform that we built has over 75 lenders on it. And since we've got started, we've helped secure over $1 billion in financing now across the whole US.
That's awesome, brother. And and I know it's Corona time and things are crazy, but you grew your company from what level to what level in terms of employees? Startup to
I started out of my spare bedroom in 2007, and have grown it to 100 employees. We all in one location here in Long Island. We have a small office in Florida, and we were #1 top workplace on Long Island last year by Newsday, which is a really cool accomplishment.
I know a lot about you. We've been dear friends for a while. I did not know that. Congratulations. That is
cool. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. We won the award in December. So it's been wild, with all this happening, it's top workplace, and we've been, kicking butt, and we have an amazing team built on awesome culture. So, going through this time is, coming off of last year, our #1 workplace, to what we're dealing with now is just, it's definitely insane, but we have an amazing group of people. They're supportive, and we're ready. We're just kind of sitting on the sidelines right now, but we're ready to get back in the game once we start rocking here as businesses get back to it.
Awesome, brother. Hey, Vivian, who else we got judging today? Thanks, Joe.
We have a senior vice president of Conover Buyer, and his name is Mike Dalton.
Hey, Sean, how you doing?
Mike, what's going on, brother? How the heck did we get a lawyer sitting here?
No lawyer. I am insurance. I am property and casualty. We are a full service independent insurance brokerage, and we're down in Seagirt. I'm in Seagirt, Wall Township, New Jersey.
Oh, I know what happened here. This is a Rob Gill connection, maybe?
This is a Rob Gill. He has roped me into your world.
My apologies for calling you an attorney, right, as a property and casualty person.
Yeah, please don't insult me. No, I'm kidding.
How do you deal with the insufferable Rob Gill? Love him to no end.
We love Rob, and we've been partnered up for a while. We are the P&C arm of Epic Wealth Management.
Oh, that's awesome, Mike. Mike, welcome, brother.
Thank you for having me.
Last, and certainly not least, we have one bad business person, entrepreneur, dynamic person coming up. Who's next, Vivian?
Oh, her name is Carolyn DeSena. She's the founder and president of We Forum Foundation, experienced board of trustees member and entrepreneur with a demonstrated history of working with charitable organizations and Wall Street and private equity.
Carolyn.
Hi, Sean. Hi, everybody.
How are you?
So happy to be here.
Yeah. So great to see you, Carolyn. And Carolyn, would you mind sharing, just so people get a little context, some of your sales success background?
Yes, sure. I started out working on Wall Street as a trader when I was 21, 4 years, options derivatives. And I eventually moved to London at 27, where I helped my company open up a sales office out in London, traveled all around, came back, did tons of sales in prime brokerage, electronic trading. And when I left Wall Street, I would say maybe about 12 years ago, I started working in the charitable sector. And I now run my own foundation, which is called We Forum. It's a women's education foundation, actually women's education forum. And we focus on educating the community on how to take better care of yourself. And we raise money specifically to fund free programs and services so that everybody in the community can have access to that. And I think now more than ever, while we are going through this pandemic, important, and that we should all be taking that, making that a priority for ourselves.
Well, Carolyn, thank you so much for being here. Super appreciate it. And we had an amazing roundup of participants, real raw judges, Vivian. And are you guys ready to drop in?
Woo! Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Let's go.
So, Jenny, Andres, do you guys know the deal? It's 2 rounds. So everybody, judges and participants, it's 2 rounds. It's 6 total minutes long. And we split it up into a 3-minute and then 3-minute. But it's one conversation. So you'll have like a break midpoint. And then you'll finish the conversation. And what we're doing, judges, Jenny, Andres, is we are having, in the first round, you're scored upon how well you build rapport, you're opening the listening of the other person, and you're accessing some level of relevant pain to whatever it is that you're doing. In the second round, it's how effectively you convey your heroic, unique identity into solving that pain and seeking a yes. And you're like, a yes about what? It's a yes about whatever you want. Vivian's the person you're going to be going from hello to yes with. And so what we're going to do is have me put 2 fingers under the table. And since Andres, you're coming from Puerto Rico, guess whether I have a 1 or 2 under the table, like a coin toss in football. So what do you think it is, Andres?
Andres, did we lose you?
Looks
He
like
seems stuck.
I think he's frozen.
He's frozen. Okay, so we'll go this then. You, Jenny, what do you think? 1 or a 2?
I'd say 1.
It is a 2.
Oh, you always guess 2. I should have known.
So here's do we have Andres back yet?
I don't see him on the screen.
Not yet.
Okay, we'll work on him coming back. So regardless, so we keep on moving forward. We've had virtually no technical difficulties, very little on the Real Raw, but this is, you know, we have overseas dynamic for today. So Jenny, we're gonna go first with you. You're gonna have 3 minutes to go from hello to emotional rapport and pain access in the first half. And you're ultimately gonna be seeking the yes in the second half, right? So what is it that you want the scenario to be? What yes are you seeking in the world? It could be directly a business sale, speaking opportunity, something. What's the yes you're seeking? And who would you like Vivian to be?
Do I tell you that now, or should I talk through that through my?
Yeah, as long as you, well, if you want her to just be Vivian, no, she'll have to know. Do you want her to be Vivian or to be somebody else?
I would love her to be Vivian.
Done. You don't have to tell us anything.
Okay.
Ready? So Jenny, are you ready?
Born ready.
Woo! Jenny's ready to drop in. Right?
Gladness.
Let's better get like back online. And are you
Confidence.
ready, Vivian?
I am ready.
So Jenny's on the clock, 3 minutes and go.
Hi, Vivian.
Oh, hi. How are you?
I'm good. I just love your style. You're so pretty.
Oh, you are.
Thank you. So, what do you do for a living?
I have conversations with people where I have them open up and share the pains that they've had in their lives, so that everyone watching in can realize how they've overcome and maybe glean in and learn something from their experience, so that they don't feel alone and they feel guided.
Wow, that's so powerful. I feel like I've been drawn to you in a way that maybe we could collaborate on something, because I think I'm a good example of that. And what got you into trying to help people throughout that?
I feel like I identify with people who have gone through a lot, because I've gone through a lot too. I've moved a lot. You know, my father wasn't around. You know, I grew up poor. And so I know scarcity. I know what it's like to feel that I don't fit in, and that nothing is stable and things are crazy. So.
Where'd you grow up?
Well, I moved 23 times to date. So I kind of went all over the map. I've spent a lot of time in Brooklyn, so I consider myself a Brooklyn girl, Sunset Park in Bensonhurst.
Beautiful.
But I lived in Dominican Republic. That's my background also. And I lived there for 2 years and 2 years in another time. And I lived in Washington Heights. I lived in Harlem. I lived in the Bronx in a crack-infested building for a couple of months. That was a trip. I lived in Washington Heights, and you know, that was another scary place to live. And it's been an interesting journey.
Wow, you've come so far. And like, I love New York, and I know these places, and you know, I'm Jenny from the chopping block, so I have a little edge to me, you know, where I know street, and I could, you know, identify with that. And I just think you've come so far. That's so beautiful. What's your best experience like through all that?
Well, that's a really great question. I feel like throughout all the difficult times, I always knew there was going to be something better in store for me. Like I always had hope, and I had teachers. Like we all think, like when you look at the snapshot of somebody that might look well put together, i.e. maybe me, if that's how you see me, that, you know, we all have this belief sometimes that we just made it on our own. Like, you know, we have this chip. I mean, I can only speak for myself, but I felt like that. But upon examining my life, I've had so many beautiful people that have been there. I had a history teacher that gave me away at my wedding, that gave me a kudos bar when I was in Roberto Clemente High School, when I didn't have any money for lunch that day. And he made me a monitor. You probably don't even know what that is, but gave me a badge, and I would open the doors, you know, for people. And it gave me a sense of like, somebody thinks I'm special. And this was really, really deep. And he would then teach me history. And eventually when I went to Brooklyn College and I took some courses I couldn't understand in, he would come and travel to teach me all of these things like constitutional law, which I don't remember. How could I? I'll leave that to Sean. And it just created just these really profound experiences in my life of being guided. And I have to go in about 30 seconds, actually.
Well, I just want to highlight, you know, that I never knew any of that about you. And it does amaze me because you have such a light and a beautiful energy, and you're so kind. And I just appreciate that about you. And I understand that people come into our lives for a reason. And I love that highlight on, you know, things happening for a reason and having mentors and people to look up to and look after you. And you're beautiful. So I could see what they saw in you as well.
Thank you.
Excellent job, Jenny. Excellent job. So Jenny, what's present for you?
I just didn't know I could love her more. I didn't know that about her at all.
Yeah, that was a beautiful job of emotional rapport building. Vivian, what's present for you? Just one word, first word that comes to mind.
Warmth.
Okay, one sentence. What comes to mind?
She brought me to a lot of memories. So it just brought a floodgate of joy for me, that conversation.
Feeling deep connection. So the emotional rapport building process was fantastic. There was clear pains, certainly from the past, that were elicited, undoubtedly. Can't wait to see where Jenny takes this in round 2. But without a doubt, as Oprah says, and while she held the microphone for 30,000 people, Jenny was definitely saying, I see you, I hear you, and what you say matters. Beautiful acknowledgments, asking questions into the answers, unscripted, a lot of emotional, energetic, goddess energy, love transference, which in the emotional rapport building stage of connecting with people is critical. Jenny, just really fantastic job.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So question, Vivian, do we have Undress back?
Yes.
Oh, yes?
Yeah,
well,
sorry, I
okay.
lost connection there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you like taking a quick solution, brother? Were you like, yeah, was that what was present for you? Were you heading towards Culebra to do a little bit of scuba diving?
That's a good one. Yeah, I just lost the connection there, but it'd be amazing just go in their swimming pool right there. But well, no, all good. I'm back.
Well, welcome back. So hey, we're gonna drop in now, and are you ready, Andres, for your 3-minute round?
Yes, I am.
Okay, cool.
What would you like me to be?
Yeah. So yeah, great question, Vivian. So yeah, like you're gonna go from hello to yes in these 2 rounds, and then who would you like Vivian to be in this round? Herself, or somebody else that's a role she's playing related to the yes she'd be seeking ultimately?
Well, I guess it would be towards the yes that I'd be seeking. It would be coaching. You know, someone looking for coaching, or let's say, yeah, you know, say I don't. It really doesn't matter because you know it's up. So yeah, Vivian can be Vivian. She can be her. Yeah.
Fantastic. So we're on the clock. Vivian is Vivian. Both rounds today. That's fun. 3 minutes on the clock. Judges, please lock in your scores related to Jenny. And Vivian, 3 minutes with Andres. Let's go.
Hey, Vivian, how are you? It's Andres. We met last week at the UPW event.
Oh.
Guy in the white suit.
Nice to hear from you.
Good, good, awesome. Well, yeah, no, I just wanted to touch base because when we met, it was briefly that we spoke, but you have such an amazing energy about yourself, and it sounded like you were up to big things. And I'm always drawn to those type of people, so just wanted to give you a call. Do you have a few minutes?
Yeah, I have about 3 minutes, and then I have a phone call.
Okay, all right, good. Well, what are you up to? Like, what is it that what you're up to nowadays?
I'm lining up my next guest for Audition It, my show, where I have conversations with people that share a lot about who they are. And these are visionaries and people who have important, heart messages to share with the world to make everyone feel found and integrated in this world. So I've been
amazing. I love it. How did you get involved in that? How did all that start?
I've been involved in television. I got my degree in broadcasting from Berkeley College, and I kind of parked my dreams and went to pursue the acting world. I was on Days of Our Lives. I was on 24. I was a court reporter and trained by Harvey Levin's TMZ for a nationally syndicated TV show called Moral Court. And then for the last 10 years, I've been working as a presenter for the auto shows Infinity and GMC. And I got really sick and I didn't know what was going on with me. So I had this huge health overhaul. And it started to force me to think about how and what I eat. And as I was traveling, I was cooking, and that naturally led to all the conversations that I ended up having and connecting with people with, because I was invincible before that. I was an incinerator. And now I just couldn't eat anything. I was down to like a quinoa and a tomato. And next thing I knew, I was like, there are more conversations that need to be had, not only in just connecting with people, in terms of food and different, backgrounds, but also health. And so that got me started with Dishing It.
That's amazing. It sounds like, you took what happened to you and ultimately you were able to express all your heart out, not with yourself, and understand that. So I can only see like why you're wanting to do it with others. So important to really express your heart and really express what you're going after. So I love it. So where do you want to take this? Like, what are you looking to achieve with this venture?
I'm going to have to go in about a minute to get that call that I missed. But you said that where am I going with this? Is that what your question was?
Where do you want to take it? Yeah, ultimately, if you can have it your way.
I can have it my way. A production company, videographers, editors, just big time. We need to have Oprah on the show. We need to have Tony Robbins. We need to have, people who, I would love to have Howard Stern even.
I love it. That's amazing. Big dreams. What challenges are you facing? Are you facing any?
Well, we are in an environment where, things are not as they could be. I have a lot of challenges. A, funding it, B, no social contact right now with people, but I know that that's the long haul. So truth be told, there are a lot of challenges there.
Okay. Well, yes, listen, as a mindset coach, I've worked with people all over the world in different levels of success. So I think there's a way that I can help you and I can support you with that journey if you give me that chance.
I have to go.
Is that okay?
Round of applause. Andres, very, very nice work. Excellent job.
Yeah.
So what's present for you, Andres?
It was good. It was challenging the shortness of the time just to ultimately find out where she was at and where she wants to go. And I love the heart. I love the energy. So it was amazing. Like I love the challenge.
Yeah, I think you did a wonderful job. The questioning, the depth of rapport, the acknowledgments were present. Very much access some pain and challenges as well. Beautiful job. I think the pivot and transition, one thought might sound like, hey, thanks so much, Vivian. Would it be okay if I shared a little bit of myself? We really focus on transitions because that transition and permission can open the listening as opposed to being perhaps a slight disruption to the listening. Like, oh, wait, okay. So we were deeply connected. And now it sounds like there's something that you're going to be offering or presenting to me, which could be a quick rapport break needing to be restored. Does that make some sense or no?
It makes perfect sense. Yeah, I guess that was the last. I was expecting that to be the second round, right? But it's okay. But I understand perfectly where. Like it did feel uncomfortable to me too. At that point, super quick. But I agree with you.
No, listen, awesome job, and thank you guys for being open here. So now what's here is like the judges. So let's start. And so let's get our scores locked in for Andres. And we have, let's begin with Joe Camerata. What's up, brother?
What's up, Sean?
So, hey, let's go just one word. This is the nice feedback format, right? If we go one word, like that was present for you overall for each person, we'll start with Jenny, since she went first. And then let's give it a sentence or two about what was positive and a sentence or two on a growth opportunity. So
Okay.
what you got, brother? And then the score. Yeah.
For Jenny, I would say like cares. She seems like a caring person.
Yes.
I think she did a really good job the way she structured her questions. I feel like she's thought that through a little bit, and it was definitely structured. And I feel like there was like and I don't want you to take this the wrong way. I just feel like you could have maybe been a little bit more confident in your questions, because I felt like they were really good questions. Just back it with confidence. And I feel like if it was backed with a little bit more confidence when you're asking them, or maybe a little bit more impactful when you're delivering some of the things that you're saying, I feel like you would get taken even more seriously.
All right. Awesome. And a score?
I would give her a 7.5.
Very nice. What do you have for Andres?
I would say Andres, like one word, same like sincere. I felt like, it feel like, really good with making people feel comfortable, have a good personality, positive personality, friendly personality. And kind of like the same thing, just maybe a little bit more, confidence on the delivery side, and not, being so timid. And, sometimes when we're on the phone, people are just going to rush. So just get right into it. One thing I thought about, and it's something I always tell my sales, reps, is I never ask anyone if they have time to speak now. I don't know what Sean thinks about that, but I feel like it just gives someone the opportunity to get off the call. And if someone really doesn't want to talk to you, they're going to kind of barge in, or when there's an opportunity for them to speak, they'll let you know that now's not a good time, but don't give someone the opportunity.
Yeah. So I would say, what'd you have for a score for Andres?
I would say a 7.
Okay, awesome. So I'll come back and comment on that after the judges, but let's jump to Mike. Mike, what do you got, brother? So kind of one word, a couple sentences on what was great, a couple sentences on a growth opportunity, and the score. Let's start with Jenny.
All right. For Jenny, one word, I would say warmth. There was definitely just such a positive energy about her, and the connection that she built right away. Very nice with the open-ended questions, really getting Vivian to open up. She's the perfect prospect in that she would, tell the whole life story with one question, but it was such a beautiful, I needed some tissues. It was great. Got her to talk. I would say, there was no agenda. There was definitely no pressure in the conversation whatsoever. If I could give a score based on just emotional rapport, I would give it an 11, because that part of it was just off the charts. As far as the accessing pain, that part I thought maybe could use a little bit of work. I didn't really know at all what Jenny was there for in terms of, her product, her company, or anything. But overall, I thought it was a great job, just pivoting, like you said, to what she is going to provide to Vivian. So I'm going to go with an 8 on that.
All right. Very good, sir. And
right.
Yeah, and then what do we have for Andres?
For Andres, I have energy and just genuine. You just feel the light about him, and he just, I did put down the same thing. Joe, do you have a few minutes? That the sales guy in me was like, oh no, don't say that. And then I felt like he did a little bit better job as far as opening up, getting her to open up towards his field, towards his product and its service. He kind of went more in that direction, and did a real nice job. I would say I'm going to go with, I'm a little more generous, I guess, 8.5 for Andres.
All right, awesome. Carolyn, thank you, Mike. Carolyn, what's happening?
Hi, Sean. How are you?
Hey, are you having fun?
Yes, I'm having a great time.
Yeah. So what do you, let me ask you this, Carolyn. In
Yeah.
in the world of Corona, what have you
Yeah.
been doing for fun?
What am I doing for fun?
Yeah.
Well, I have 3 little kids at home. I am completely inundated and focused on making sure these little kiddos don't fall behind. And they're 7.5, 10, and 12. And so I'm completely focused on making sure they do their homework, making sure my Wi-Fi doesn't go down. And I think I'm a short order cook, a housekeeper, a teacher, a priest.
That's amazing.
Peter, I mean, name it. There has been very, very little time for me. So this is a nice little break. I actually made all the kids leave the house. They're outside so that I would not get interrupted for this wonderful hour with you.
Well, thank you for that amazing generosity. And Carolyn's got some incredible story and, you know, movie making and stories about life and her family, and really remarkable. So thanks for being here, Carolyn.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
So what do you got? What do you got for Jenny?
Okay, so Jennifer, I think that you were, the word that I would use is inquisitive. I think that you did a great job in asking a lot of questions and leading that. What I would have liked to see a little bit more is you connect with her on a level that would bring you both together. I think you did a great job in sort of listening listening to Vivian, asking her great questions, really having her go deep. But I think at one point you had mentioned something about, you know, being a street girl and having sort of that connection. I would have liked for you to maybe tell maybe a really quick story about that so that she would then be interested in you also, because having her be interested in you is only going to make her want to listen to what you have to say after the initial connection. So I think overall, I think you did a great job, and I would give you an 8.
Very nice. And how about for Andres?
Andreas, I thought that you were purposeful. I think that you had a great intro. I agree with everybody. Don't ask if they have time. I think that if you just start talking, finding that connection from a personal level, which I think you did. But what I thought that you did very nicely, besides asking the questions, was finding your purpose in the conversation and sort of leading her that way. So while you were asking her great questions and getting to know her and listening to her, you were also trying to figure out how do you pull, you know, Vivian into the next part, which is the sell. How do you pull her there and driving her to that purpose? I thought was a good tool. So I give you an 8.5.
Awesome. So we have a very close scores after round 1, and thank you, Carolyn, very much. So here, I want to step into something. So Vivian, just play with this with me for a second, if you don't mind. Okay. So, hey, Vivian, do you have, and say no, right?
Okay.
Or hesitate. Hey, Vivian, do you have just 5 minutes to chat? I know we met at the event. I'm just giving you a call and.
No, I don't actually. I don't. I have to go.
Yeah, listen, no problem. I would never want to put you in a position of like catching you at a bad time. And I mean this sincerely. I'd love 5 minutes of your time at some point. I think there's something, you know, pretty fun and interesting to talk about and just to connect. Is there a better time for me to call you? Because I always want to respect your time. How do you feel right now? Tell me, score this in your head on how you feel about me right now on a scale of 1 to 10. Don't say it, just have it. Now let's go round 2. Let's do it this way. Ready? So you had that number from the first round, right?
Yes.
Okay. So ready?
Mm-hmm.
Ring, ring. Just say hello.
Hi.
Hi, Vivian. Sean Callagy here. We met at the Unblinded event. Remember?
Actually, I don't.
Yeah. So I was the guy where like we sat near each other. So can I ask this though? So why did you go to the Unblinded event to begin with?
I was trying to find more meaning to my life and purpose. I had come into the new year and it just felt heavy, and I wanted to believe and focus.
Pause. After the first round, how did you feel about me? Scale 1.
Right now I went into like a 9, and before I was at a 6.5 to 7.
Okay. So but my question is, so did you feel at all pressured into talking to me?
No.
Okay, very cool. So my assessments, and I know all 3 of the amazing judges are seeing it differently. I like to ask as a builder of unique identity conveyance. And I virtually never have somebody say no, but I would agree with this. If we're training, at least agree with this, and we could have longer conversations about it in different modules. But if I was training lesser skilled salespeople, I would agree that training on asking for time permission and getting a blow-off objection, that they would have potentially not the skill set to have the credibility build that somebody who has truly a great amount of certainty and tremendous influencing skills would have. So when we have a higher skill set, my belief is that by asking permission, we're creating deeper rapport and respect. And I will never speak into a rushed tone. I'll always build emotional rapport first, because I want to make sure, to me, influence is about this: opening the listening, like creating scotoma, opening listening, having listening accepted and acted upon. So like my feeling is that higher level influencing dynamics with more sophisticated people, we can build some distrust that we're powering through them, right? So I like to be very careful to not power through, but it would be an interesting conversation for a longer day. But I agree, lesser skilled people could easily then just get blown off regularly, not know what to do with it. So I just wanted to address that issue. Now, going into round two, our amazing and illustrious judges, we are scoring on now the delivery of heroic unique identity into solving the pain and moving into the yes. So said differently, how effectively are Jenny and Andreas having Vivian see her future in them or their services to solve her pain and say yes to whatever it is they're asking for? So Jenny, in round one, you went first. So you have the choice in round two. Would you like to go first again or second in round two?
Second.
Thank you for that. Andreas, are you ready, my friends?
I'm ready.
3 minutes. It's who you are into yes, solving Vivian's pain. Andreas is on the clock. Go.
Okay, so Vivian, do you mind if I tell you a little bit about me?
No, that sounds great.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. Well, when I was 14, my dad told me, Mijo, you gotta figure it out. You gotta figure out college. You gotta do something about that. And at that time I was playing tennis, and I just put my head down, went to work, and it was the first time to go. I was the first person in my family to come to the U.S. and study, and create my future. What I wanted to do, I wanted to get out of the normality. And I studied finance. I didn't really know what to study. I just knew I wanted to help people. I wanted to do something with it, but I wasn't really clear on what I wanted. And after being 4 years working in the finance industry, I got to a point where something inside of me was saying, there's just more for us to do. There's more for me to do. I was crunching numbers. I was not really speaking up. I was really afraid to share my feelings and just have my ideas accepted. But it got to a point where I just said, you know what, screw it. I'm going to go after what I want. And I quit my finance job. Within a year, I started 3 different companies that failed, different industries, real estate, digital marketing, network marketing. And, it got to a point where I didn't stop. I kept on going, but because I was seeing other people having success in these areas, so it had nothing to do with the opportunity. It had everything to do with me. So it got to a point where I was looking at myself and got into personal development. And, you're talking to someone who was super shy, super, reserved, not really expressing much. And I knew that needed to change if I wanted to have success. And I stumbled upon Bob Proctor through a colleague of mine who was getting mentored by him, and everything changed for me. I was living on credit cards. I put what I had on a credit card to get mentored. And I identified that ultimately everything that we are seeing in our life, it's not a direct reflection of the outside. It's really what's happening inside of us. And when we get connected to our true self, and when we understand really who we really are, everything that we do conforms to it. So
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I have to go in about a minute to take this, call.
Sure. So thank you for that. And it got to a point where I was able to understand that all of our results, it's all a matter of aligning the way you think with the way you feel, and ultimately the behavior is going to follow. And what I see where there's challenges and where you want to go moving forward, there's a misalignment with how you're thinking about where you want to go, the way you feel about the results you're having today, and you're getting emotionally involved with your actual results. So what I learned and what ultimately got me to really create the lifestyle that I have and get to work with Bob Proctor and coach people all over the world was aligning those three: thoughts, feelings, and actions. And, you know, with your story and what you said, it's
we'll talk another time, I think.
Right.
Okay.
Very nice, Andres. Excellent job. And it's a really cool story, brother. Thank you for sharing that. So what's present for you, other than the fact that 3 minutes is a tough timeline?
Yeah, it was evident. Yeah, it was evidently difficult. But it was. I think it's. I conveyed a few things. I didn't convey the way that I wanted to. I guess I think I got into my head, and yeah, you know, it didn't feel very good.
No, brother, I disagree. I think it was very good. I think there's a couple access points and we could share in a couple minutes, but in my heart, really, I was compelled and I was listening. I think it ran out of time a little bit. We could have tightened up a couple of things in the timeline, but I think you did a really nice job. And I don't say what I don't mean. So really, a lot of folks have been on here, some very famous people, best-selling authors, like all kinds of things. And you did a really good job. You did.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that said, and we'll drop in, I'm going to go after Jenny goes. I'll jump in with a couple quick things to show, I think demonstrate a couple quick points. But Jenny, are you ready?
Yes. Can I use some of the information I know from what he asked, or is it just based on the last conversation I had?
Just based on the last conversation you had. And that was a very integrity-filled question. And I'm very thankful for that, Jenny. Great job.
Okay.
So based on what you had, yes.
Okay.
All right. So Vivian, you ready?
Sean, I'm sorry to interrupt. We're judging on what on this one? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yes. You're judging on how much Vivian would be seeing her future in the contestants based on how well they share their heroic, unique identity, who they are, like what they are, how drawn, and get to yes, the yes that they're seeking. Yeah. Okay. So are you ready, Vivian?
I'm ready.
All right. Let's go. 3 minutes.
Hey, Vivian. So I think it's really interesting how, you know, I've met you in like the Facebook Live challenge and I got to know you and we're standing here online at another event and it almost seems like we've been drawn together. And the last conversation, I know you had to run, but, you know, I was able to get to know you even more. And I feel like I have a lot of similarities to you. And you touched upon how you like to interview people and you have your shows and you want to create this broadcasting company. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
So thank you for that. I have people that I feel have really compelling stories and that they want to share their pain, and maybe it's about the American dream, and maybe sometimes, you know, some of the stories are people who have been sex trafficked and how they dealt with that and dealing with the shame and how they overcame that and what tools they used so that someone watching in can really understand. I had a wonderful girlfriend of mine who came in from Pakistan, and, you know, she left before she couldn't divorce, you know, but divorcing is not a good thing in that country. And she took her children and left, kind of like that movie, you know, not without, I forget what it's the title of the movie now, with Sally Field, but, and anyway, so she, you know, these kind of compelling stories of escaping and leaving and coming into a world where they don't even speak the language here in America, and then becoming successful and taking care of a family in tow. It's just really remarkable. And that kind of perseverance is something that I really find amazing.
Would you mind if I told you a little bit more about what I'm interested in?
Please.
So I love that you highlight that and that international, you know, immigrant story of people coming to our country and killing it. And, you know, that's something that I would love to explore more of, and get to know people and just have that commonality that we are all one and that we're all, you know, trying to get to where we have to go to survive sometimes and sometimes to thrive.
I have to go in about a minute because I'm getting text that I have to go, but can you tell me a little bit about you?
I've grown up in the hospitality industry. I used to break the ends of string beans off in the kitchen when I was 4 years old. And I love Anthony Bourdain because like when I read his book, I was literally belly laughing because it was just so raw and true. And that leads back to my point of, going to different countries. And I think that you could really relate to somebody on a deep level when you break bread with them. And I think that opens up like a comfortable vibe when you are getting to the root of some of the stories of how people evolve. So I just think we have a lot of common interests, and I would love to collaborate with you and learn from you because I'm at like the beginning stages of what you've already done.
I have to go, but thank you. I'll take your information.
Thank you.
Very nice job, Jenny. Thank you very much. Jenny, what's present for you?
I want to talk more.
So, and here's an interesting access for everybody. So we get to talk more when we buy more time. And we buy more time by adding enough value in the time we have to have the person want to invest their only and most limited resource, which is time, 168 hours in a week. And 5-minute meetings turn into 2-hour meetings if people change their schedule when they see their future in you and what's happened. So rolling into quick access quote. Actually, Vivian, I'll ask you, what's present for you? Just real quick, just overall, what's present?
There is a lot of sincerity, a lot of warmth, a lot of trying, and a lot of candor. And I felt like everybody here has a big heart. So, and I love the enthusiasm and the engagement from both contestants. So I was feeling like I would have had the 2-hour conversation with either one.
Oh, beautiful. Awesome. So I want to jump in for a sec and with you, Vivian. So let's take a look at this. So, hey, Vivian, I'm hearing that you have this extraordinary dream and vision of creating this amazing show, having remarkable guests. And I'm hearing that, it's its early stages. What are your biggest challenges and fears about it?
I fear that it won't go anywhere right now. I fear time is escaping. I fear a lot of things. I fear if they're going to be, I know it will be accepted, but I wonder how well loved it will be received. And I worry about everything from the content to the foods that I'm serving to, all the energy that it takes to make it too.
Awesome. And can I ask one more quick question? Is this a project that you're involved in for passion, mission, or is there a monetization component to it as well for you?
It's everything. It's passion, it's mission, but obviously it would be nice to monetize. It would be nice to have money pouring in for that.
Okay, awesome. Would it be okay if I shared a little bit about myself?
Please.
Yeah. So I was the first person in my family to make it to study in the US from Puerto Rico. And I had a lot of pride and confidence in that reality. And I started working in the business world. And there were so many things that I thought I understood, but I didn't. And so I was living on credit cards, I was amassing debt, and I was living like most Americans do. And then I found an incredible breakthrough. And by aligning my thinking, my feelings, and my actions, and working with one of the most remarkable coaches in the world, Bob Proctor, and I began to study how to transform first my own life, and then the lives of others. And I've worked with X number of people, and they've had Y changes. And what I love to do with you, Vivian, is to see if you'd spend an hour of your time with me so I can show you what's possible to take this massive dream, which is so beautiful, as so many people that are artists like yourself have, and to break it down into pieces and progressional steps so you can ultimately achieve that vision. Because I'm guessing there's a lot of things in between you and that vision, like money, like people and things. And how all those things come together in a sequential and masterful process. And if I waste your time for an hour, you can tell everybody you know it was a gross waste of time. But if that hour was valuable, just please be honest with me and let me know. How does that sound to you?
Sounds amazing.
Okay.
Bam.
Great. So Andres, how does that land for you?
Clean. This is clean, you know, truthful, just complete.
Yeah.
Like
Did I represent who you are in the world accurately?
yes, beautifully, beautifully.
Yeah, brother. So I think you did a great job. That's who you are. And I get that it's sometimes challenging. People are watching. We're short time frame, but I feel your energy and you're amazing. So I wanted to deliver that in service of you.
Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Yes.
Thanks,
That was
brother.
amazing.
Thank you. So Mike, let's start with you this round. Then we'll go Mike, Carol, and Joe. We'll reverse a little bit. So Mike, let's go with Andres first. What's a word? Couple of sentences positive, couple of sentences growth opportunities, and a score. What do you got, brother?
All right, Sean, I have personal. I thought he was very personal. He was vulnerable. He was self-effacing. He kind of told the story of how he, you know, fell down a few times before he, you know, picked himself up and really found his calling, which that was very endearing. I thought that was great. Kind of his aha moment, how he met his mentor. And I thought that was great. I think the time factor just got the better of both people. So, and rightly so, it's not a lot of time at all. So that was tough to get to how you're going to solve the pain. That was left out from both people. And I think it was just a time factor. So I'm going to go with a 7 on that. And nice job.
What do you have for Jenny, Mike?
Okay, for Jenny, I have just connection. You were still building that connection. It was kind of an extension of the first part. And, you know, it was just really fabulous how you know, just drew so much information from Vivian and got to know her so well. For both people, I'm not a huge fan of the, you know, would you mind if I do this or if I do that? Because the answer that you want is a no, right? So for me, I'd prefer if you don't mind, I'd like to tell you a little bit more about myself and how I feel I could help you get to where you want to go. Is that fair enough? So that would be my approach. But again, didn't get to the pain solving. So, you know, it's a horse race here, but I'm going to go with, I think I'm going to stick with a 7 for both.
All right. Awesome, brother. All right. Thank
Nice
you,
job.
Mike. Carolyn DeSena, who is a short order chef, brilliant businesswoman and entrepreneur, philanthropist, and oh my goodness, she's also like teaching at home. So thank you for taking this hour. So what do you got?
I love my teachers at school more than ever now. Andres, I thought that you did a good job. You were very genuine. I liked hearing about your own personal story. It's very nice to be able to connect at a very vulnerable level with the person that you're talking to. It means that you're not afraid and that you're open. And that in itself can also open up, you know, trust between you and the person that you're talking to. I think that both of you, I think unfortunately, if the time frame is only 6 minutes and you know that going into the call that you have a very short amount of time, I think what I would like to see from you is for you to connect your experience with her. Let her connect with you in that way rather than you just say, you know, I started my business and because she's trying to start a business too. So if you're trying to help her get into this frame of mind of needing a coach, you have to sort of like bring it back to what she told you in the first 3 minutes and kind of relate like, look, this is my experience. This is what I did. And this is just like what you did, right? I'm going through the same things, or I went through the same things that you went through. And for those reasons, I'm sure that you must be feeling, and then lay it out there. If you've had those experiences, make sure you lay it out there that, hey, I've walked in your shoes before. I've been there. I've done it. I know how you feel, and you must be. And kind of like throw some things out there for her to think about so that she then finds a way to then connect back with you. But overall, I think that you were very genuine and you did a good job. And I would give you a 7.5 for the second part. But again, I think it's because the time factor for the both of you. You know, if we had more time, it obviously, you know, you guys would have been able to, like, you know, end the call a little bit better. For you, Jennifer, I think that you were very generous. But that's also a double-edged sword, because I think the time factor, you were still trying to connect with her and ask her questions. And so that generosity is beautiful, and obviously is very, you were very warm with her, but then that didn't give you enough time to sort of tell her what it is that you were looking for. And you didn't get that until the last minute. And I would like for you to maybe give up some of that and try to, again, I'm going to go back to that connection, is finding those similarities in a way that you can connect back with Vivian, because like I said, she shared a lot in the first 3 minutes. If anything, you asked her like maybe 7 questions, and she was very, very deep and emotional with the things that she was expressing to you. And I know just in listening to you in the very short amount of time that you must have had very similar experiences, and that you could have gone deeper. And I think that if you wanted to build trust with someone who is so vulnerable, someone who really shared a lot of very deep, dark things about her past, I think it would have been nice for you to sort of open up to build that trust and connection with her immediately, so that then she would have wanted to stay. I'm not saying that she didn't want to stay on the call, but I think that it's always nice that when you start to have the other person start to ask you questions, they're asking you questions because now there's an interest in what you've told them. You've told them something that connects back to them, that makes them want to ask you a question. Now you've built rapport, you've built connection, you've built trust, and then you can then bring it to the next step. So I think that both of you did a good job. I would give you also a 7.5.
Thank you, Carolyn. And Joe C., bring it home, brother. What's up?
All right. So Andreas, sorry, I can't roll the R. But, you know, one, I think this is being recorded, so that's amazing, because Sean created this like commercial for you, which was really well done. And one thing sticks out for you and for both, you know, I think it's good to kind of have that story about who you are and what you've done kind of nailed, so you can deliver it in like 60 to 90 seconds, because you guys only had 3 minutes and everyone got short on time. But in real life, you might be pressed for that time, and you might be dealing with someone just trying to get off the phone. You have to really nail your story quick, your commercial, and then build that rapport, and it's got to get done quickly. So having that kind of nailed down and going over that, I think would be, you know, would be really helpful. And then it'll just roll off the tongue, and then that'll be your commercial and your story about yourself, and you won't ever have to think about it. It'll just be like, it'll just be automatic. You know, one word I skipped over that. I mean, I think, you know, sincere, you know, passionate, good energy. I know there was more than one word. And the only other, you know, I think everything else. So like, you know, you were real. I think anyone too, especially if you're trying to like build a rapport or help someone who's trying to start a business or get better, like being real and honest about the struggles and challenges that you've had in life, putting stuff on credit cards, you know, was doing something I didn't love. I made a move. I failed 3 times in a business. Like sometimes people are afraid to talk about that stuff. But I think when you do that, it just shows that you're real. And, you know, like some people out there act like, you know, nothing's ever gone wrong in their lives. And I think people read through it and read through the BS. So being real, I think is awesome. You know, you didn't have enough time to really wrap it up and bring it home. So I'd give you a 7. If you're able to bring it home, it would have been, you know, much higher, you know, for sure.
Awesome, Joe. And for Jenny?
And for Jenny, and kind of similar here, you know, same thing, Jenny, sincere, you're real. I think, you know, up front, you really went in for the rapport, you know, on this one, which was great. And I think you hit a few rapport things, but you kind of kept it going. And I think if you're in a press situation, maybe a little bit of rapport is great. You kind of nail something. And then again, kind of nailing your 60 to 90 second type of a commercial. And maybe you can even get it under 60 seconds, which will give you more time to build rapport. But if you kind of build rapport and then nail that quick commercial, then it might, you kind of will maybe, you know, you'll engage that person, lock them in, and then you can go back to maybe some rapport building because the conversation will, the person will kind of allow it at that point. And the same thing, I would give you a 7 as well. You guys did great, just kind of wrapping it up and kind of getting to a few things a little bit faster. I know you only have 3 minutes, but again, in a real scenario, you might only have 2 minutes.
Awesome. And score?
7.
Awesome. So thank you guys. And I know, Carolyn, you might have to jump soon at like a hard stop. So before that occurs, I just want to say like thank you to everybody. And Carolyn, how was your experience? Like, what do you think of the Real Raw? And what would you tell somebody?
So fantastic. And I have to say, I give a lot of credit to you guys, to Jennifer and Andreas for doing this, because I'm sure it's nerve wracking to be pitch, because that was very hard to have 3 minutes each time. It's not easy. So lots of kudos to the both of you. It's very courageous for you to do that, but you did a great job. You should be proud of yourself. So thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you.
And Carolyn, if somebody said, hey, should I be a judge in the Real Raw? What would you say to them?
Absolutely. This is so much fun. And, it certainly, starts to sharpen my thinking skills too, and thinking about how I do things. And there's no better way than to keep growing and learning. And I've learned a lot from the other judges and from you, Vivian, and you, Sean. I mean, you are the master. So I learned a lot today, and why not? I mean, it's a great gig and so much fun. And I loved being able to learn from everybody else. It certainly makes me better also.
Well, to Carolyn and everybody, Carolyn, love to have you back as a participant, perhaps representing your philanthropy. And we are naming the influencer of 2020 coming out of all this, as we have the dances and tournaments. So just keep that in mind for everybody. So Carolyn, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. And Mike, how about yourself? Somebody said, hey, should I be a judge on the Real Raw? What would you say?
Oh, absolutely. It pays great. It's a lot of fun now, right? Now I learned a lot. I give, Jenny and Andreas a lot of credit. It's, a lot of eyes on you. Usually it's one-on-one. So you've got that sort of fishbowl effect, and they both did great. I think it was a great experience. Would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, awesome. And a great way to connect with other people as well. So we'll talk about the pay part. Sign up for the Unblinded Business Accelerator, Mike, and you will see power of the Real Raw and what happens as a result of it. So Josie, how about somebody saying to you, brother, should I judge in the Real Raw? You say to them.
I would say do it and get involved. It's awesome what you guys, put together here. It's amazing the community and the tribe that you guys have built in a short period of time. And obviously, Sean, you've been at this your whole life, but what's happened with Unblinded since it started, where you guys are now and where you're going is unbelievable. My team's done it, are involved. It's been helpful. It's been great, in my company. Vivian, you're like a natural, like a radio voice, or I don't like it. Just keep going in that direction because it just flows at you so naturally. Your voice is awesome. Great job. And, I think Sean doing this too, like putting this together. And just what Caroline was saying, like hearing this stuff, like you talk about role playing, and it just always sounds awkward and it's sometimes uncomfortable to do. But the reality is, like, you get to pick up some really cool things, and even it's great for me to be like, oh, that's a good idea, or I should talk about that with my team. So it just gets kind of going through the notions, gets you really thinking, and shout out to to you guys, Andreas and Jennifer, kind of going on here and live and getting critiqued is never always exciting and uncomfortable, but you guys did a great job, and props to you guys for coming on.
And thank you, Joe. And what's uncomfortable too, everybody? Going on the sales meeting and getting a giant no every time. So this is how we create the breakthroughs in that. So thank you for that, Joe. Absolutely.
Yes.
Andre, yeah. How was it for you, brother?
It was amazing. Like, I was super excited, just super honored to be reached out to participate. And it is uncomfortable, like to go on a normal role play, like with someone that you and just 2 or 3 people. Imagine a whole panel of wildly successful people. But it's like you just said, it's just it's a learning opportunity, and that's what we're here to do. It's always growing and getting better, and then just learning from each other. That's the best thing. So I love it. It was an amazing experience.
Welcome, brother. Thank you. And how about Jenny? What's up? How was it for you?
Amazing. I really enjoyed getting to know everyone better and being a part of this movement. And that me and Andreas we both wore pink. And I guess I need to learn how to be more competitive, because I felt like we were kind of on a team. I think we got tie score, so.
Getting to the microphone. So Jen, Andreas, Carolyn, Mike, Josie, on behalf of everybody from Unblinded, and Vivian, fantastic job. Thank you everybody so much. Every day on the Unblinded Huddle, and check out the Unblinded Business Accelerator. It is free and crushing it to demonstrate, like, what do you do with all this and why the real raw and what happens? Oh, there's a lot happening. So check it out. Thanks everybody. Have a beautiful day.